So, hello viewers! It's been quite some time since I posted a video, but since there are still some people looking at my channel, I decided to take a walk outside. It's a lovely spring day here in Stockholm, Sweden, and the main reason for shooting this video is lying down there. It's the newest hammock from the Norwegian company Amok. It's the Amok Draumr XL with accompanying sleeping pad as well and tarp. So this is first use, first look video. At home I open up the Fjøl XL, which is the sleeping mattress, just to take a quick look at it. Otherwise I haven't opened anything else. So let's take a look at this stuff, and hopefully I get it set up and give you some first impressions. Okay, so starting with the Fjøl XL, the pad which is required for this hammock system. It provides sort of the skeleton for the system, for the hammock. So my first impressions here is something which is near and dear to me, the actual bag itself. As I said, I've opened the sleeping mat, inflated it. It's really large. We don't have, yeah, so you have the measurements here. So I'm 180 centimeters long, and lying with my heels at the bottom end, if I extended my arms straight up, my fingers was about 5 centimeters over the edge above my head. So it's a really large setup. So the packing bag, thankfully there is ample room. You don't have to struggle getting the sleeping mattress back in here. It's quite roomy, and that's something I like. I really hate having these packing bags being quite small in comparison to the content. It's a nice fabric, not super plasticky. Sorry for the shoddy camera work. It's going to be that way. I think it looks like the same fabric which possibly the hammock is made of also. Not sure about that, but nice, not plasticky fabric. And some protection here, and the content. So I'll throw out the sleeping bag and also the inflation bag, which is part of this. Okay, so the content, I need to back up a bit. Of course there's no reference, but sleeping mat, sleeping pad, the inflation bag, nice printed instructions on how to use the stuff. The valve is a rubber flap which is inside, so when you inflate it, this is obviously pushed inside. So when you deflate the thing, you can either use your finger just to push it in, or as I did here, just flip up the rubber thing here, rubber sealing thing, and let the air escape when you roll the pad together. So it seems to work fine. The pad is rated to an R rating of 3, which means approximately -4. So it's a 3-season system. Here. Okay. So I'm not going to show you how to do this. As I said, if you have never done it, there are nice instructions. I usually do it a little bit different than twisting the bag. I take my hands if you imagine my one hand here, the other one hand here, fingers on the inside, and gently from a distance blow air into the bag to sort of inflate it, and then I, with a thumb on the outside, I sort of flip quickly over to close as much air inside as possible. But next step is to inflate the thing and then move on. Okay, the thing is inflated. Just wanted to show you how the valve works. As you can see now, the rubber thing is on the inside and keeping the air in, and this part is for protection more or less. Make sure to close this completely. I tend to wet it a little bit with saliva, and then make sure it snaps into place to keep everything protected. So actually, before rigging everything up, I just wanted to show some details on this bag. Straps which are pulled on either side to compress the package. These straps are sewn onto the bag. Nice strengthening features here, and it's sewn tight all the way here. So up here it's loose. You simply loosen both ends, fold the thing over, and then open it up. The bag tends to be, it's attached to the hammock, so you won't have a bunch of loose bags. You basically have the sleeping pad bag and the inflation bag. The sleeping pad, the hammock, is contained with everything in here, and finally the tarp, which has the pegs in a pocket as well. So everything is very neat and tidy. So with that said, I'm hanging everything up here. Okay, so one new thing, as far as I know at least, with this newest version is the actual suspension system. In this case, the straps are detachable from the hammock body, and you simply loop them around the tree, throw the end through the end loop, and hang everything here. The hammock will then be hung, connected to this buckle basically, and you then adjust the suspension by pulling and releasing this, which we will come back to. So these straps are identical. There's no right side, left side, so just toss them up at whatever height is suitable for the distance of the trees. Moving on. So the hammock body itself, as I said, the straps are completely identical, and the connection points on the hammock, the left side and right side, are clearly labeled with port and starboard. And for those of us who aren't really used to seafaring terms, starboard is on the right hand side and port is on the left hand side, and I will assume that this is when lying down in the hammock with the feet pointing in the feet's direction. So your right hand will be at this side and the left side is this one. So right, left. Let's see if that works. Okay, so here I've simply threaded the buckle through this piece. Not sure if it focuses, and as you see, the webbing comes on the other side. I just threaded this one through, and the webbing is still exiting on the other side, underside. So adjusting is easily done by either just pulling this tab to release or pull on this webbing, which is hard for me now with one hand. And the angles, normal, you want a 30-degree hang angle from the trees to the hammock. But before I do the final adjustment, I'm going to insert the pad. The pad is inserted into the hammock at the foot end. where we have a zipper. So the pad simply goes into this pouch, which is the area you will be sleeping on. And let's see how it looks like at the head end. So the head end is sewn shut, but here we have an opening, which obviously is for the inflation valve on the sleeping pad. So make sure to adjust it so the other way around for me. So the valve, which is over there, should be in that corner when inserting the pad. So pad inserted at the foot end. There's a flap here which envelops the bottom end of the pad, and then we simply, let's see if it's that simple with one hand. No, it's not. We just close the zipper. The head end, you have the valve and the head end. And I was wrong, see, look at that. So there is an opening here, so you can reach in your hand if you want to sort of pull the thing, pull the pad. That's possible. It slid in quite easily for me, no, just pushing from the other end here. But there's an opening here as well then. So let's tweak everything here and get the angles correct. Okay, so lesson learned number 1. When I inserted the buckle like this, with the pointy end pointing downwards, the webbing will slip. So that's wrong. The way you should insert it is so, which is also clearly shown on the picture. So pointy end up as shown on the picture. Again, kids, study the manual and things will go a bit better at least. Then there is no slipping at all. Okay, so initial adjustments in place. What you should try to get is the ridge line, which you may or may not see, horizontal, and then adjust the tension and the position on the tree of the straps to get the 30-degree angle from the horizontal here. So this is a good measuring stick. So from the thumb down to the fingers, that's a 30-degree angle up so. So just put everything in place basically, not really super adjusted it. Get it in place, sit and see how the height is above the ground, and then adjust accordingly. At the head and foot end, you insert some sticks, which preferably are fresh and bendy. So there are pockets for them, bottom side, top side, and same thing at the head end. And you have a string which, as far as I know, goes to the ridge line and works to keep the bug net off your head, possibly. So this is spongy cord, it's not a rigid cord, so it's spongy. And there's also a small pocket, storage pocket for the leftovers here. Yeah, moving on. So the hammock with the bug net in place, as you can see, hopefully not much tension, which is always a nice thing with these slightly more tender fabrics. So it hangs in place, at least when I'm not inside. I'm going to lie down and see how it looks like, but it looks quite solid. The bug net is fully detachable, so it's stored in here. We'll try to look at the pocket later on, but there's the zip goes all the way around, so you can remove it completely, not just store it. You can take it loose from the hammock if you're in an area where there are no bugs, like in Sweden. Sure. Before climbing in and see if there's any point of filming from the inside, just want to go through the storage areas. So you have two shelves, I'd say, where one is also used to store the mosquito net, but there's lots of space inside there as well, so it's quite roomy inside. You have the Morse code, Morse alphabet, if you want to learn that, study at night. Another shelf pocket here, which is open, and you have storage pockets on either side and a bottle holder. And that's it. And of course, as you know from the hammock design, straps to position or adjust the lying position, and also get into the seating mode, which I'm not going to do here. So bug net fully detachable. So, lying down, and I'm sure that this video angle is not going to give a good idea of how spacious the room actually is. So, from the base of my head, I now have like a good 7-8 centimeters up, the way I'm lying now, balanced in place. And the back side, which is where you have the stick on the outside helping lifting it up. You have the ridge line keeping the mosquito net off of my head and face easily. It's not even close here. Very roomy, very spacious. And let's see if I can flip the... Okay, so bug net in place all around. As you see, my feet now are in position and barely touching the fabric at the end. And finally, I just tested if the hang thingy works here. So if you want to see a film or anything like that, or just store stuff, you can attach it to this ridge line nicely. I'm sure you're all blended by the sunlight here, but still, that can be put in place if you have such a thing. So, I think that will be the end of this video. If there's anyone who has any questions, please add comments in the comment section, and I'll be happy to try and help you out. I don't really have time now to set up the tarp, so that's possibly a later video. So that should be all for today. Bye bye.